on false and ill-conceived reasons. I have seen him turn his back on the American principles of liberty, justice, and limited government by voting for the Military Commissions Act. This un-American piece of legislation promotes torture and suspends the writ of habeas corpus when there is no rebellion or invasion in blatant disregard for the Constitution of the United States. So clear is the unconstitutionality of this law that Mr. Pryor has had to join the likes of Alberto Gonzalez in resorting to claiming that our great Constitution is much narrower than its plain and obvious language would indicate. They claim that there are people and places within our nation or under its control to which the protections of the Constitution does not apply, but over which the President rules with inherent power, not granted or limited by the people or by Congress. After witnessing these repeated, ongoing attacks on the fundamental basis of our American way of life, I felt that it was time to let Mark Pryor know that his actions have consequences. I felt that it was time to let the people of Arkansas know that they have the opportunity to support a candidate who's in favor of a free America, an America where the rule of law and not the rule of men ensures justice. I chose this day, Earth Day, on which to announce my campaign because at this moment in history, the world is facing the great challenge of man-made global climate change. Yet the United States is unable to provide the leadership that the world needs to come together and solve this problem because men like Mark Pryor have led our nation down a path of unilateralism and contempt for the international community that has divided us even from our closest allies. We need to get America back on track, acting in accordance with its own highest principles so that we can conquer the global challenges of the 21st century. Men like Mark Pryor attempt to excuse their role in empowering the government at the expense of the people by constantly saying that 9/11 changed everything, that after the events of that tragic day we can no longer afford such precious values as freedom, justice, and mercy. But while it is true that Al-Qaeda's outrageous and unprovoked attack upon the United States of America changed a lot of things about the world, I think that it's time to talk about the things that 9/11 did not change. After 9/11, it is still self-evident that human beings are created equal and endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights, including the right to liberty. Creative interpretations of the Constitution can violate these human rights, but they cannot remove them. After 9/11, it is still the case that no one can be lawfully stripped of his liberty by the United States except with due process of law, including notice of the charges and evidence against him and a true opportunity to defend himself against them. Therefore, even after 9/11, locking human beings away indefinitely without charges and without trial because we do not know which of them may be our enemies is not erring on the side of caution or defending the American way of life. It is an attack on the American way of life as diabolical as 9/11 itself. After 9/11, the question persists whether a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal can long endure upon the earth. Mark Pryor and others in Washington seem to believe that the answer to this question is no, that any nation that remains dedicated to these principles will be destroyed. They would have us trade our freedom for the promise of perfect safety, which they cannot provide. We need more people in Washington who understand the wisdom of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "Those who